Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. It's getting to be the time of year where summer is appearing, and depending on where you live, you might be seeing the first signs of summer. So you're starting to think about barbecues, cookouts, having family over. And if you're lucky enough to live in a state that allows open carry, or you have a fairly private yard or a farm, you probably would be inclined to have your blingiest gun hanging on your belt when everybody arrives. And if you're into guns and your family's into guns, you might have everybody showing up with their blingiest guns. So you might be inclined to do maybe something like this. The only problem is, other than these fancy grips, which are aftermarket, the gun's kind of plain. It's pretty, but there's really nothing necessarily blingy about this. So we've got a collection of a few bling guns for barbecues that we went through, and we'll just kind of show them to you and kind of talk about why they're blingy barbecue guns. So the first one we'll show you now.
One thing you're doing,
So the first one I've got is this Bond Arms Snake Slayer 4. And this is around a $500 gun. It's all stainless steel. It's kind of shiny. You can see this one's actually got some holster wear because I've used it for mowing the lawn and stuff like that. It's really a snake gun. You load it up with PDX Defender. This is a 410-45 long Colt. So what I'm showing you here is that I've got a gun just for dealing with snakes. And it's just kind of cool looking. You've got a really kind of a fancy grip, all stainless. And as Derringer style guns go, this is a fairly large one. So let's move on to the next one. So what you just saw there is a Ruger new Vaquero. It's a single-action Army-style revolver. And revolvers in general tend to be kind of nice looking. But the new Vaquero takes that to the next level. Really highly polished chrome. This is the Bird's Head Talo edition, so that adds a little bit more mystique to it, makes them a little harder to find. But you get all the styling, that gunslinger shape, the curved hammer, and all the other characteristics of really what turns out to be just a pretty gun. Now, it's 45 long Colt, so it is actually useful. It would actually be an effective defensive weapon, as long as you can get the job done with the 6 that's in it. But it definitely is blingy. It's definitely a showy gun. So let's move on to number 3. So what I've got here is a Beretta 92 FS. And I did mention that it's number 3, but it's not really a ranking. It's just the order that we're going to show them in. Now, the Berettas come in a number of different variations, and they're very popular guns, but most of them are black with black grips, and they're highly reliable and highly functional and very stylish. But when you get into the inox, which is what this one is, you actually get into looking at some bling. It's got that nice polished. It's kind of not shiny, but it is. It's not a highly polished in that it's a mirror finish, but it's very well polished. It's kind of a grayish look, all stainless steel, of course. And the black rubberized grips just look nice. It's just that color combination. And when you get the black controls and black trigger, it's just a nice looking gun. It's one of those types of things when somebody sees it, they're going to kind of be curious, I want to know what that is. So it really does fit into your barbecue gun bling territory. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Of course, if we're going to do any kind of bling gun, we're going to need to include a 1911 of some sort, but this happens to be a Colt Delta Elite. So it is a 1911 design, but it's chambered in 10mm. And you've got the Colt Delta symbol on the wraparound grips, which are really highly textured. You've got the Delta signature on the slide. It's very nicely matte brush finish on the side and then an even more matte finish on the top, but it's obvious that it's meant to be that way. So if you're going to bring out a 1911, I mean 1911 and 45 is very common, this takes it up a notch to something that is actually quite nice looking, and now you're starting to get a bit on the pricey side. You've moved up in around the $1,100 plus territory. So you are also showing off your budget just a little bit. And just like any bling gun collection requires a 1911, you've got to include a Sig. And Sig makes a wide range of styles, from very plain, black guns onto really, really highly stylized. They've even made blue and green ones. This one is a P229. It's the Talo Elite, and it has a walnut grip. And when you look at the parts that aren't textured, it's really very highly polished, and you really see the wood grain really nicely. The gun itself is all stainless, except the frame is alloy, but it's PVD coated to somewhat match the slide. It doesn't match perfectly, but it's a different sheen as well. So it's designed to look exactly like it looks. So it's, it doesn't match perfectly, but it's also not supposed to. Sigs in general are nice looking guns. When you get into the stainless and the other variations of them, and you get into the wood grips, it takes it up a notch. And you're also moving up a notch in the price territory. You're now into the $1,200 territory. And that's one thing about Sig. You take any one model of their guns, you can get it anywhere from $800 to $1,500, depending on how stylized and what add-ons that particular one has. And of course, there's one more in the collection.
That was pretty good.
And of course, when you're talking about bling, got to end it with a Desert Eagle. This is a Mark 19 and chambered in 50 AE, which is the biggest, baddest of the whole Desert Eagle. And the Desert Eagle in general is the biggest and baddest of its entire genre. It's big, it's heavy. When I grab a hold of the grip, my hand is an average size hand, doesn't go all the way around. Even Hammer grabs this thing, his thumb will touch at least, but he still doesn't go all the way around. I've got videos where I've shot this with one hand, but this is really meant to be a two-hand gun, and even with two hands, it's a bit of a handful. This is kind of the penultimate bling gun. They're expensive. This one's about $1,700. They're bulky. They're not particularly useful for anything other than being what they are. And this one takes it up. We've got the compensator on this one. You've got rails on the top and bottom, so if you want to hang a grenade launcher on the bottom and sky laser on the top, it's designed for that. And the Desert Eagle series in general, it comes in a number of different colors. They have them all black, they have them with some tans and some different coloration. But this big slab of stainless steel, the size of a small car, really is kind of the one that stands out. They've even got one in a gold pattern that looks like tiger stripes, which is actually kind of cool. I've looked at them, but they're hard to find and they're expensive. So to wrap up a bling gun collection, the Desert Eagle, when you see this thing hanging on your hip, it starts at your hip and ends at your ankle. It's just a big old gun. Well, that's our bling gun collection. Hopefully, if you're going to be able to go someplace where you can open carry, you'll get to choose the bling gun of your choice. Get to enjoy some time with your family. I hope you're really enjoying your July 4th, whether it's just starting or whether you've actually finished your day. Please remember to keep it in your holster. Don't shoot into the air. What goes up is going to come down, and we don't want it to come down on somebody. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up at top if you do. And we thank our YouTube subscribers and our Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. Thank you.